All right, good morning. Welcome to Southwest Flavor. Happy Thursday to everyone. Today we have Will Pena with us. He is going to be co-hosting, and he is actually our first guest.
Buenos dias, amigos.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, as always.
It's always a fun time, bud.
So let's change things up a little bit. Let's not talk about business for this first segment. Let's
what could we possibly talk about?
Well,
there's nothing going on today.
Yeah, except today's the first day of the NBA Finals.
The finals.
Yeah.
Yes, game one.
Game one of the NBA Finals.
In Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City versus Indiana.
The Indiana Pacers.
Yeah. What do you think about that? You have some thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are just from what I've seen is that the Pacers are going to have their hands full.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on both sides. The Pacers being a number 4 seed, they weren't really expected to be in the finals, but I'm glad they are because they have 2 U of A alum that are playing there, and they're good contributors for that team.
Yeah, and that's always it's good to have, shall we say, a dog in the fight?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, to keep it interesting. Obviously, neither of the two teams are our teams.
Right.
But it's always good to have a connection to kind of keep you in the game.
So, yeah. And I think I read, and I don't remember the exact number, but I think this is the 5th year in the row that there's a U of A player in the finals.
Yes, I read that as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
awesome.
That's just that shows you what kind of program Arizona is and the legacy.
Yeah, it's always been top notch.
Yeah,
it has.
Yeah,
everywhere from Lute Olson.
Right. When he came here in '83, he really built that program up and then just continued the legacy.
No, absolutely. Some great players have come out of the U of A.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of players not only in the NBA, but a lot of players have gone on to have really successful overseas, careers and made some good money.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and you were telling me you had lunch with one of them yesterday.
I did. I had lunch with Reggie Geary.
That's awesome.
We do that every once in a while, and he's just a great guy. He works for the U of A now.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
isn't it great how they can come back home?
Yeah.
They come back home and work.
And this, they didn't. Most of these guys didn't grow up here. Pretty much all of them didn't grow up here.
No, absolutely.
But they came to Tucson and went to the U of A, and for the most part, they fell in love with the city and they fell in love with the community. And a lot of them come back here, whether it's just coming back to do a camp or doing nonprofit work, or several of them make a home here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and it's awesome that you have a pretty good relationship with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
That have come back.
I've been I grew up here, and so I've been going to U of A football games since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then we've had season tickets for the basketball games for about 6 or 7 years. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. I have yet to be asked to go to one of those, but that's okay. That's okay.
This season, you will go with us.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and so tell me your thoughts on the finals. What do the Pacers have to do to compete to have a chance?
I think just they're going to have to contend with Oklahoma City's size.
Okay.
Yeah. They have a lot of size there that it's going to be difficult to contain them.
Okay.
And they have talent on, all around, from their guards to their front court.
Okay.
But I think...
So pardon the pun, but do you think they can keep up the pace with Oklahoma City?
Yeah. It's always fun to watch, especially in the finals, because when you're in the finals, both teams are supposed to be, basically the best in the world, the 2 best teams in the world. So there's always coaching, that whoever wins that first game, then the second game, there's going to be all these adjustments.
Right.
They're going to figure out who had that hot game in the first game and try to shut them down, who, which way they're going, which side of the court and shooting from, which, all that scouting goes on all throughout the year, but they're going to try to pinpoint some adjustments to make sure that they can shut a couple things down on the other team. And then the other coach has to kind of have that backup plan. It's like, and we know that they're going to focus on you, so we need you to take these other shots.
Right. And their coaching staff is going to have to, think about that too. Yeah, we won this game, so what are they going to change to stop that, and what do we have to do?
Right. Right.
to kind of answer to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're running this play and it's successful, but they're going to key in on that. So we have to, do a different rotation. We have to, spot up in different place.
Right. And how important do you think the Pacers 3-point game needs to be?
It has to be huge.
Yeah. Because from what I've read and what I've seen that is kind of their bread and butter. That is,
sure.
That's what they need to do on that.
Yeah. But, I think both teams have a pretty fun style of playing. We were talking off air earlier about how, it's sometimes it's frustrating to watch the NBA because their style has changed, the players have changed.
Yeah. Well, we grew up in a whole different era.
We sure did. Yeah.
I mean, I know that, you being, my brother, basically, I know that you're a huge Larry Bird fan.
Yes. Yeah.
That's your guy.
That is my guy. Started watching him when I was about 10 years old, and yeah. I mean, every time I stepped on the court when I was a kid, I was Larry Bird at the 3-point line, Game 7 against the Lakers. And it was like 3 seconds left. Yeah. And sometimes I med the shot, and sometimes I didn't.
Well, most of the time you did, probably, because if it was anything like Larry Bird,
right?
Yeah, my guy was Magic,
right?
I grew up a Laker fan, and those were different games back then.
Oh yeah,
it just seems the styles have changed so much.
Yeah,
it seems like the superstars of the game have changed so much.
Right.
Just the. You can't blame it. Obviously a lot of it has to do with money.
Of course,
they're making a lot more money now.
Of course, they are making just unimaginable money. But you can't blame them. I mean, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I'm going to pay you, this exorbitant amount of money for what you're doing," you're going to be like, "Okay."
But see, my issue is that it's the person, because I feel. Let's take Larry Bird, for instance. If he'd be making crazy money like they were making now back then, he'd still be the same person.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's probably several guys that are the same people, even though they're making some really good money.
Yeah, but some of the superstars are, we talked about LeBron.
Yeah.
We're both, we're not fans of LeBron, but we agree that he's probably one of the best athletes that ever lived,
right?
Especially in basketball. But
he's probably physically the best basketball player that we've ever seen. Right. And that's a tribute to him taking care of himself. I mean, I've read that he spends a huge amount of money just on his health, on his eating, on his workouts, everything.
Right.
Just like Tom Brady did.
Right.
Yeah, Tom Brady, that has the personal chefs, and they have this really strict diet because of inflammation and different things that are going to hurt you. When you're depending on your body to compete at that top level.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so it's just a different game.
Yeah.
Even when it transitioned more from Larry Bird and Magic Johnson into the Jordan era, from Jordan era, kind of went into the Kobe, times.
Right.
And, it just seems like for me, it's become harder to watch.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, you're not alone. You're not alone. But the younger generation, that's all they know. They love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So maybe it's part of us just being old guys, get off my lawn kind of thing. But the game has changed. And one of the big things that changed was you're not really allowed to play that much defense. And they did that on purpose because in the 80s and the early 90s, you had really low-scoring games. Yeah. And the NBA said, this is bad for TV ratings.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to cut down on the defense and have higher scoring games. Yeah. Especially calling all those fouls, the time's not running. You get to have free throws, free shots to elevate that score. Yeah. And it really did change the game.
Yeah. Nobody's running the triangle defense anymore, are they?
No.
Yeah. No. So, it's one of those things that I think, as you say, it's a generation.
Yeah.
And obviously, we were the guys that cheered on the guys with the smaller shorts.
Right.
So things change, and
a lot of things change.
But still entertaining though.
It is.
I think tonight's game is going to be.
It will
really
be
entertaining, especially if you're into what we used to call back then the run and gun. The
fast
paced games.
Yeah,
I think it's. I think you're really going to enjoy that. Yeah.
And I don't know the exact. Talking about fast pace, I don't know the exact time that it came into place, but there was a point in time where there was no shot clock. And they would just sit on the ball for a couple minutes, and then there's probably the games were in the 40s or something.
Yeah, the game was like ended like 27-12.
Yeah,
And
that was something that you had
television rights back then.
Right. Yeah, but that was something that they did have to change just to speed up the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, and I guess it's obviously a much better game now. Than then, especially.
Yeah.
But to me, it's I enjoy watching college basketball a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love college basketball and college football.
Yeah.
Just the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love going to the college game and hearing the band, and there's the different stuff that they're doing on the field, and I like that atmosphere.
Well, can relate a little bit more to that because we were, high school. We kind of went through that.
Right.
We were actually the ones on the field. And, and that, but the pros, it's a little more business-like. You don't have the big bands. You don't have the, I can see what you're talking about there.
Yeah. It's completely a business.
Yeah,
but rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Changing hands.
Just television rights, and the shares that they're getting for the games, for the playoff games.
Right.
Even that, what each player is going to make on their share of this is still a significant amount of money.
It is. It's money that we'll never see in our lifetimes, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're right, but that's okay. But we also don't live the lives that they do. So
that's true. That's true.
My personal chef is my wife. So
But speaking about chef, you just got a Blackstone.
Oh man!
And you just made your first smash burgers with it.
You told me, I had told you probably a month ago that I'd been thinking about getting one of these things, and you're like, "Oh, you're gonna love it."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now almost every night I keep telling my wife, "Well, you don't have to cook today. I can make this. I can make this." Yeah,
you can make so many different things on it. It's just a big 36-inch griddle.
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
you can do multiple different things at the same time on it. Right. You can make your fajitas.
I'm new at it. I've only had it for a couple weeks here. I've cooked on it a couple times, a handful of times, and I'm still learning to time everything right.
Yeah.
Like when to put the actual burger on, when to, when to put to saute the vegetables that I'm going to put on it, the chilies, the onions, all that.
It is. It's a learning process because, like you said, because everything cooks at a different pace.
Right. Yeah.
And so you have to learn your hot spots on the griddle,
right.
And there's different little tricks.
Yeah. I mean, the latest thing I've learned, I guess, is I need to kind of pre-cut and have all the ingredients ready to go. You can't be trying to cut the onions while you've already got the meat on the.
Everything has to be prepped.
Yeah,
everything has to be prepped.
That's one thing I've trying to get down now. But I love it, man. I mean, those burgers came out so good.
Yep.
My granddaughter was over that day, and she was, saying, like, so what do you think of that burger? She's like, that's one of the best burgers I've ever had. I'm like,
isn't that an awesome feeling too?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's your creation, and you season it the way you want it. You're putting on the different toppings that you want,
right?
Or she wants. You can do special stuff for your grandkids, kids. Yeah.
The only thing I'm missing now, speaking of seasonings, you know where I'm going with this?
I think so. I think I know where to get some seasonings.
Yeah, I need some seasonings that this guy's gonna supposed to be making and have on the market already.
Yes.
But some Picture Rock seasonings.
Yeah.
And so hopefully you're able to get those out soon, and we can get. Man, we're all over the place on this one, aren't we?
We are, which is what we wanted to do today.
Yeah,
we wanted to do this first half an hour where we're just kind of just having a dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of like what we do when we're sitting across a table somewhere.
Exactly.
And a microphone in our faces.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, but it's awesome, and I'm so glad that I did. That my wife got me that as a very early Father's Day gift.
That's cool.
So it was. I love the thing.
Yeah.
So I have my grill there now, and then I have my regular barbecue grill.
You have your gas grill. You have your
and then I have my smoker also.
Yep.
So I don't know if I need anything else back there. So.
Maybe a pizza oven.
A pizza oven.
That's the next thing that I'm getting.
Don't get me started.
A little pizza oven,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My middle son has a pizza oven, and
does he?
He uses it a lot. Yeah, actually, my older son just got a pizza oven too. So
yeah. Well, he just the one that just closed on the house.
Yeah. He's been in his house 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks.
That's awesome. Isn't it great seeing your kids just
love it?
Just grow into men.
You always want to see your kids blossom and go out in the world and make their own stake in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'd say this even on a podcast. They had great parents.
Well, thank you.
You and Janae are awesome people, and so they were definitely brought up right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We tried. We definitely tried. It's a job, right? Yeah. Definitely. It's a job.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a young, you're a young adult and you start having kids. Your first kid, you're like, okay, what the heck am I doing here?
That's trial and error. The first one, right? Right.
Yeah. Going to your parents and you're like, what about this? What am I doing here?
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So it's always important to have your parents, your grandparents, your pastor, just people around you.
That old village that they say.
That whole village, your uncles and all that, and just like, hey man, what's going on with the situation?
I mean, and you always have that one uncle that gives you the advice, and you got to do everything the opposite of what he says, right?
Right?
Yeah, we've all got that, so
that's okay. Yeah, are we those uncles?
We probably might be those uncles now, right? They'll be fine.
Yeah,
let them play with the matches. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick sponsor break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes with Southwest Flavor.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
Welcome back to Southwest Flavor. We're talking with Will Pena, and Will doesn't just do podcasts. He also owns a couple businesses, and one of them is Tucson Pack and Ship.
Yes, absolutely. And but before we move on, Ron, I need to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Call your shot.
Call my
NBA
shot?
Finals.
Oh, I think if I was betting on it, it would be Oklahoma City. Yeah. I want Indiana to win, especially with the U of A ties, but I think Oklahoma City has enough talent to get the job done.
Yeah, I agree with you. As a matter of fact,
maybe in 6.
I'm
six
calling
games.
it. I'm calling it in 5.
Okay.
I'm calling it in 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, then
yeah, I don't have anything against either team.
Yeah.
So,
but you have something for one of them.
I have something for
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Anyway, so let's go on. There's that little business I run over on 12th and Irvington area there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tucson Pack and Ship. We've been open. We're about to hit our second year open here in August.
Congratulations.
So we got that going, and our thing there. We are locally owned. We are.
Right.
My wife and I both run it. We do shipping, packing. We ship with UPS. We ship with FedEx, U.S. Mail. So we have the 3 major carriers on that. We do other services there as well. One of the big ones is notary. We always have a notary on
That's
site.
good.
So we can always do notary there.
Right.
We do a lot of things like simple copies, and we can actually do some binding of some little presentations. We have little things like that we can do there.
Right.
We do shredding. We do shredding. We charge by the pound on that.
Okay.
That's something that we've had a few people take advantage of there. They come in and bring their box of
documents.
That need to be shredded.
Especially if they're maybe they're moving or just going through the garage or the shed or whatever, and they find those old documents, but they have some sensitive stuff on them. So you definitely want to shred them and make it really hard for someone to figure out some of that information on there.
Absolutely. And one of our biggest things, as we were talking earlier, is our mailbox rentals.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a huge thing right now, especially with all the e-commerce going on around. Everybody ordering from Amazon, eBay, all the
or
other
just
directly
all
from
kind of websites. Yeah,
you order stuff, and so we do provide an actual street address for people,
right?
And that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
it's not just a P.O. box type address, because a lot of shipping companies won't deliver to a P.O. box.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't, like FedEx. When we're shipping something FedEx for somebody, we can't send it to a P.O. box.
Oh, okay.
It actually has to go to a physical address.
Okay.
So that's one thing that we provide is that physical address.
Right.
Plus, with all the porch pirates and all that's going on, you see it every day on Facebook. People are posting that they've, their packages were there. They say they were delivered. They're gone, or they've got video footage of people taking their packages.
Right. I think some people make a living out of just stealing other people's stuff.
Yeah, it seems like they follow the Amazon drivers.
Right.
A lot of times. Yeah. So we keep them secure.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't put a time limit on it either. We don't say, oh, you got 3 days to come pick this up. No, as long as we've got a place there, they can come at your convenience to pick up.
Right.
and we are receiving, especially Amazon packages daily for
I believe
our
it.
clients.
Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, as I was saying earlier to you, you know, many people don't even do it for their actual mail. You know, they get their mail at home, but they just want their packages shipped there.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't change their actual mail address. They just change their address on the Amazon accounts or eBay accounts or, you know, just to get it shipped to us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That really does.
No, yeah,
Especially if
absolutely.
you're either, you know, you work long hours, you're away from your house all day, and, you know, there's a good possibility of someone seeing that package on your front porch, or if you're in an apartment, something like that.
Especially in an apartment, yeah. Or if your front door is very visible from the street.
Yeah.
You know, I'm lucky enough to where I live at the end of a cul-de-sac, and my front door is actually hidden. You cannot see my front door area at all. So we get stuff delivered there. It's usually pretty safe.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, a lot of people in and around my neighborhood, they're in 12th and Irvington area. You know, those streets that are there, they're just regular houses that you can see the whole front yard, the whole front door and everything.
Yeah.
And
they're older houses.
yes, and if they're not fenced or anything like that, they're getting, you know, they're getting their packages delivered there. You know, they're very susceptible to, you know, to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's neighborhoods that have more foot traffic than others.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we offer a fair price for it. You know, we're probably about 70% less than what you get a box at a post office.
Oh, wow.
You know, so
fantastic.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, we do provide a lot of service for them as well. So, so yeah,
and you're local,
and we are local.
Yeah. So I mean,
what they call that mom and pop store, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But when people spend money with you, I mean, your money is staying there in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it goes right next door to the restaurant at Little Mexico, right?
Right.
Yeah. Staying in the community. It stays in the same shopping center sometimes.
Right. But you're supporting another local business.
Right.
There,
no, absolutely.
So.
That's what we all need to do here. You know, as yourself being a local business owner, you know, local business there. You know, we all need to support each other, and that's what we try to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Thank you for telling us about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And let's take a quick sponsor break, and we will come up with our next guest.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
All right, welcome back, Southwest Flavor. Our next guest is Meme Aguila from We Care Tucson.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about We Care Tucson.
So We Care Tucson was originally World Care and started in 1998.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Learn something new each day.
Yeah.
And after 9/11, they began to shift the focus and looking at needed to think about things here more locally. By 2015, 2016, everything was truly focused on local and realized that World Care doesn't quite tell you that we are local.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So by 2020, they had changed officially January 1st of 2020, the name officially changed to We Care Tucson.
Oh, wow.
And the focus is more honed with the mission being to remove the barriers from information, education, and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So we focus on technology and medical because they go hand in hand, believe it or not.
Right, right. So you accept donations, all different kinds of technology, old computers, tablets, phones, all that stuff?
All technology, soundboards, we get all kinds of things.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. We've gotten the TV video cameras that they use. We've gotten that. Yeah, we've gotten very, very old soundboards.
I've worked on some of those very old soundboards, over the years.
Oh, yeah. We've gotten a crank radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like I said, it's a variety. It's always fun. Some of the businesses that donate to us, sometimes you get the really odd technology that they donate and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all good. And we recycle what we can't use. But most of it we'll take apart, fix it, and then the laptops, desktops, monitors will be sold in the showroom. That's welcome. Anybody can come in and get them.
Okay.
But then we partner with about 50 local agencies to do a referral program for people that need laptops or desktops trying to get back in the workforce or trying to go back to school.
Yeah.
And then we have our Tech Connection, which is our student Tech Connection, where we give it for students kindergarten through high school. But because of the U of A and Pima Community College, we allow the college students in as well. And we get them a laptop that's designed for online studying and the connections that they need for that.
Okay.
And then, of course, our youth initiative programs. So we teach the kids about the technology, about how to repair it, how it works. And so a lot of the desktops and things we use in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. First of all, thank you. Thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you.
It's a huge need. I myself have donated some of my old computers and things that you just never think that what to do with. I mean, I had one computer sitting in my garage for like a year and a half, thinking, "What am I going to do with this thing? What am I going to do with this thing?"
Yeah.
And then again, I'm good friends with a lot of your board members, and great board that you have, by the way.
I do.
It's
I
a great
have
board.
a fantastic
Yeah.
board.
And so I contacted one of them and was able to get them 3 or 4 of my old computers and just all kinds of stuff that I was able to send, and that very made it very easy to do on there.
Yeah, my board's very good about coming and collecting things from people and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also we just partook in your golf tournament.
Yep.
Great tournament, by the way. Thank you so much for allowing us to.
Well, thank you for participating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
And then, do you still do the summer camps or the different camps?
We're right now.
You're right in the middle of it?
In the middle of it.
Okay.
This is our first week in the store.
Uh-huh.
We did last week off-site at Ochoa Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
So that was a lot of fun. The kids had a great time. And that was a kind of a combo.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mixture of our tech camp and our robotics camp.
Ooh.
This week at the store is robotics camp, and then following week is tech camp, and then back to robotics, and then tech. And then we take a quick break, and then we have a 1 week off-site camp again. So this year we did 6, and we're full. All the weeks are over full.
That's fantastic, though.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
it was
just
really
to have
great.
that turnout. How do people find out about it?
Well, this year we partook with Bear Essential News.
Oh, wow. I remember Bear Essential
remember
News.
That?
Yeah.
It's still there. They do online,
Really?
but they still have the newspaper. They bring it to us in the store and we give it out.
Ah.
But they partner with TMC for the Be Safe Saturday.
Okay.
And we participated in that. And by doing that and just advertising online, through Facebook, we were full by the second week of April.
Wow.
Ooh.
We
Yeah,
had a waiting list and stuff.
So there's definitely a need there.
Oh, definitely.
Those kids want to get into these camps and learn these different things, especially about robotics. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we started it with a school day out program for robotics, and they built these mini little solar robots and had a lot of fun. Then we did the Robo Rumble, and that was BattleBots.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me of the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
And that's what it kind of looks like, except it's done with hydraulics, water and hydraulics. They had a great time. Parents liked it so much, they were like, what about us? So then we did it as a family edition.
Oh.
And that was a huge success. So after camp's all over, the end of July, on the 26th of July, it's a Saturday, we will have cyborg water wars.
Wow.
They will build a cyborg hand that's actually a water gun and have a water fight. What a great time in end of July.
Wow, yeah.
Out in the yard and stuff. And they learn all kinds of things with robotics. And with the robotics camp, we also do a lot of science experiments. So they'll start this time they're building these, it kind of looks like the movie Circuit. It kind of looks like that little robot.
Right.
And they're learning to program it to do all sorts of things.
Okay.
They start to build it, and then we let them take a break because they're not going to spend the 6.5 hours that they're in camp doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
So we set up science stations where they get to do different science experiments. We do the old bottle rocket.
Oh, yeah.
They'll kind of a take on Alka-Seltzer, dropping it in, but we do it with more mixture, so they learn a little bit of chemistry. They do a weather station that they have, and so for the whole week they'll go out and check the weather and learn different things. There's a DNA. That's what they're doing today. Is this afternoon they'll be playing with DNA and learning about the strands of DNA.
Really?
And
Wow.
experiments on that. Yeah.
Huh. So they'll be doing some like CSI stuff.
Kind of. You talk about, I told you weird things get donated. Well, somebody donated a phenomenal large microscope.
Oh,
and
okay.
then when we partner with a lot of the nonprofits, so Treasures for Teachers had the slides.
Oh,
they
cool.
had some prepared and some that were just plain. And so they donated to us those because we give them some of the other things that they need. So that's one of the things I get to do with it.
That's cool. That Treasures for Teachers was just on our show either last week or the week before. So
we have a great partnership with Andrea.
Excellent.
It's wonderful.
We were talking earlier about small businesses, local businesses working together, and I know a lot of the local nonprofits work together. And that's just an example of that.
Oh, I think it's so important that, we all do great work, but we do better work together than opposing each other.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Even in the golf tournament, thanks to several of the local small nonprofits that we partner, they helped us and we helped them with their events and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
no, they are putting a foursome in our event as well.
Yeah.
With the Southern Arizona Book Heroes. And
oh, yeah,
we
and
definitely
I just dropped stuff off for the goodie bag.
Did you? Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank
congratulations on them winning the Torch Award.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was huge.
Great.
Yeah, that is.
That was huge.
That's an honor.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Jennifer and I, we sat together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it shows that we get along and we all like each other. And we, to support each other. They all do wonderful work. And I think the concept of AZ Southern Arizona Book Heroes is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys
thank you.
all have your own little different purposes, but it's all just about the community.
Oh,
it really is, and serving that community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know, like I said, your board members, they know they can always reach out to me if there's anything I can ever do for you guys. So.
And I told Jennifer I'll help her get so that they can become a qualified Arizona charitable credit tax credit. So it's all about working together.
Yeah,
it's important.
Very cool. I'm just intrigued with the robotics.
Well, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Quick question for the robot: who teaches this?
So. We were able through AmeriCorp. They have under their umbrella is the American Connection Corp, and that focuses on digital inclusion and technology and volunteers to help in that sector.
Oh, okay.
And we were blessed with getting a grant from them, and then United Healthcare gave us a grant to fund the rest of the position. And we have a robotics student. She's finishing up at Pima Community College, which has a wonderful robotics program.
I've heard that, yeah.
At downtown campus.
Yeah.
In fact, the kids toured that yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's cool,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, on camp they go on tour, on field trips and stuff, and that was one of the field trips they did. She was actually did an internship with us, and I asked her, AmeriCorp, we're looking for someone to be our youth initiative project person, and she applied and got it.
Okay.
And her specialty is robotics, and I'm like, this is a perfect thing to add into the technology.
Yeah.
And so,
especially the way it's just growing out there in the field.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of Jade came from Goodwill as an intern, a paid internship that we partner with them. And an opportunity came up, and I offered it to her, and it worked out. And part of what she gets from AmeriCorp, besides the stipends to help, is also she can qualify for a scholarship for college.
Oh, wow.
Nice. That's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
So it's
further her education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she is going to do it for another year. We can actually have her for hopefully up to 4 years.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then we'll have enough funding and everything that we can hire directly.
Okay, yeah.
So
my oldest son works on robots. He's an engineer that works on robots that builds the cars.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, that's something that's hits really close to home for me.
Oh yeah.
And then my two older kids, when they were in grade school and middle school, they're at a charter school, and one of the things at that charter school was robotics. They're really strong on that.
It's the kids have a great time at it. They it ties into the technology because they're learning coding. So with this robot that they're building this week, you program it to do different things, and we have this big butcher block of paper laid out, and they put the bots on that with a pen and tell it and program it to draw circles or squares and stuff. It looked like a spirograph, the
Right?
old spirograph thing. And today they'll be doing agility things with the bot, like throwing it through a basketball hoop.
Oh.
So we took apart monitors and the state monitor stands, and they'll create a basketball hoop from that and have the robot throw it in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick sponsor break, and then we'll be back in just a couple minutes with our final segment.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
All right, welcome back to Southwest Flavor. We're talking about day camp and all the cool stuff that's going on with the robotics camp and the technology. Mm-hmm. Your camps are growing. I mean, you said last year you had 3 weeks of camp.
3 weeks of camp with 20 kids in each week.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have 6 weeks of camp. We slotted 30 kids.
Wow.
But we're actually over that.
Okay.
So we let more in. Because, there's some days kids are sick and things happen. So,
that's true. That's
so that we can make sure that they're full and taken advantage of.
Very good.
And then we also hire 7 counselors to work in camp. Mm-hmm. And we have a mixture of some seniors in high school, some freshmen, sophomore in college, and a couple that have just graduated this year.
Okay.
So it's a nice way to give kids the first chance at a job or help some of the college students pay for their school.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I did work one summer for Tucson Parks and Rec and worked at a couple of their day camps and a volleyball camp also.
I did as well when I was in high school. I'm not from Tucson. I worked at the time, it was called Handy Camp, and it was a camp for children with disabilities and stuff. And I worked at that, and then I worked at Homewood Flossmoor's Park District, and then eventually became the director of their stomping ground camps right before I moved to Tucson.
Okay. It's a good experience for a young person. It really is. Helps you grow.
I was a waterfront director. In college, I was a waterfront director for a camp in Blue Ridge, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So it was that's a great experience too, overnight camp.
Yeah. And then off air, you were telling us that these camps are very inclusive for everyone.
Yes.
So if you have children with special needs or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, last year when we had a student that the parent reached out to us and they have a visual impairment, we met with a school for the blind up in Phoenix to how we can accommodate and what we can do. And because it's different than what you would do for someone with like autism or something like that.
Right, of course, yeah.
So we try to accommodate. I'm a big proponent of inclusion and making everybody welcome, and that's what we do.
That is so awesome.
And my staff, we trained, we worked with them on, besides getting first aid and CPR certified and stuff, we work with them on how do you work with kids in inclusion and how do you make everybody feel welcome and what to do and not to do.
What are the hours of your camps?
So our camp is from 10 to 3:30.
Okay.
We experimented with like 9 to 4 and found that was just a little bit too long. And unfortunately, we're not able to offer pre and post camp, daycare. But we did partner with, it's called Growing Stones. It's on Stone Avenue, and we're located on Stone.
Okay.
And it's a daycare center. And they are bringing kids down to camp, so you can drop them off there and they will get them down to camp. We arrange for their staff to sign in and out the kids.
That's
and
great.
then they'll pick them up afterwards. So it's we try to focus on our neighborhood because we really are looking for kids who can't afford this. Camp is free. We provide lunch for them, and like with tech camp, they get a laptop at the end. So after the 5 days, they get a laptop. And with robotics camp, they get their robot.
Okay.
It's theirs to take home. And, there's also other little robot kits that they can play with and take with them. So it's a great opportunity, especially for kids who can't afford camp or afford a camp like this.
Right. Let's touch a little bit on the providing lunch every day. Because when the kids are in school, they're guaranteed to have that lunch every day. But, there's families out there that maybe can't afford or they're having a tough time feeding their family throughout the summer when the kids are home. And when the kids go to camp, they do get a lunch every day. And you said there's some opportunities for businesses to step up and either sponsor a day or a couple days or a week of lunch for the kids.
Absolutely. We have wonderful, this is our third year, and I've been blessed with lots of businesses that have stepped up and helped us provide lunch. This week, just to name a couple, we have Camelback Roofing that's provided it.
Right.
We have Allegra 360 Imaging. We have Kingdoms Eats on Friday. That's a local church that has a catering arm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave them laptops for their youth program.
Okay.
And this is kind of a reciprocatory,
Right. Working together.
Exactly. Yeah. Next week we have like Patch Boys and some of the other businesses. It's a great opportunity, and you can come in and see the kids. The kids, they're great. They always shout out thank you and everything, and they're very appreciative. And parents, for a lot of them, it's a relief to not have to
Right.
provide a lunch or send lunch, because a lot of camps don't.
Yeah.
And that was what I was really big when I came on for this and thought of this camp idea, was that we have to provide lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's really, really important. And we've managed it. So
Right. With the help of the community.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a big shout out. Last year, Ward 3 really stepped up. They did lunch for us, but they also provided a grant for us for transportation for the field trips that they do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this year, the money's not there.
Okay. So maybe tell us how people can get a hold of you if a business wants to sponsor some lunch.
You can reach us at 520-514-1588, or you can visit our website at wecaretucson.org. And under events, you can drop down, you'll see camp, and you can scroll down, and there's lunch sponsor form right on there. Or you can send it to info@wecaretucson.org, an email.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank
Thank
you for
you for
everything
having
that you do.
Oh,
I mean, it really is important in that community.
Well, and thank you for having us on here and for all the help you've given us as well.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. That's another episode of Southwest Flavor. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m., and we'll see you next week.